One of the very good things about being with ExxonMobil is that you know that when you wake up in the morning that ExxonMobil will be your supplier, that it will not be subject to a merger, it will not be subject to, antitrust, any financial difficulties, that they will be your supplier. And to know that you don't need to worry about who your supplier is for the next 20 years is a very good thing.
In the surveys, they were rated best in the industry in supply. And when they showed us where they were in each category and where they were going to go to with this new value proposition, and they actually increased. They would want to be better in supply.
I don't think there's any doubt that ExxonMobil has one of the best, if not the best, supply reliability in the U.S.
You know, ExxonMobil in the Rocky Mountain West has got an excellent supply reputation, probably one of the finest in the area.
Integrity is something that first comes to mind. I think that's one of the things that certainly ExxonMobil excels at, is providing reliable supply to our distributors.
Supply reliability is a tremendous strength. And if you really question brand value, I encourage you to look at that, because how reliable and how comfortable do you feel signing your business up to something that you're not sure will be able to meet your needs? What I can tell you that ExxonMobil, we take very, very seriously supply reliability. We have a very dynamic network of supply, obviously as a refiner and having terminals and pipelines. And so I would say that it's in good hands at ExxonMobil when it comes to supply. That is a very keen strength of our brand.
Supply is probably the strongest attribute we've had. And having lived in Texas and living through the hurricanes and working the supply pieces, I have to beat our own drum for doing a good job.
Before, during, and post-Katrina, if there was ever a time when ExxonMobil really stood up, it was in the weeks and months after that. We never had a supply interruption trying to get that city and the areas surrounding it at least to a point where people could return home. And I'm real proud of those days. I hope we never have to face that again. But I do know if we do, that I got a great partner in ExxonMobil and our ability to meet the needs of a great big community.
The Gulf Coast of Mississippi was one of the hardest hit during Hurricane Katrina. And it was a very traumatic time for my customers and the families of their businesses, and for me. And we were working around the clock, literally having phone calls at midnight, trying to get set up at terminals. But ExxonMobil did a wonderful job keeping my distributorships wet with gasoline, and they did a wonderful job ensuring that that gasoline got to the folks that needed it, be it emergency crews, hospitals, and the retail store for the ultimate customer.
Last year, for example, we had Hurricane Dolly rumble through our area, and ExxonMobil kept us very well supplied at the time. We did not suffer any outages. They did their best to keep us supplied, even so far as offering us generators to keep our stores operating. We were constantly in communication with ExxonMobil, and yes, it was scary. We were hearing of canopies flying or canopies being knocked down. We were hearing of gas pumps being knocked down. Power outages were big. We experienced power outages at about 50% of our stores. Through Hurricane Dolly, we experienced no supply outages whatsoever, which was amazing.
They could have sold every gallon of gasoline that they sold to us for $1 more to the people that needed it. Were unbranded customers, but they didn't. They maintained an integrity, not just from a supply standpoint, but from a pricing standpoint of view.
There have been companies, competitive companies, that have had some very significant problems in terms of making supply available in the Northeast, even though that particular piece of geography was not impacted by the storm. But if you look at what ExxonMobil has done, our supply has continued fairly steadily and fairly ratably through that situation. And I think that's a credit to us, and I think it's recognized by our distributors as an important part of our relationship.
We've always tried to do what's right. And if that means incurring cost to get fuel to the marketplace when people need the fuel, such as during hurricanes or tornadoes or whatever, we've always tried to do that. And we worry about the expense of that later because we know it's the right thing to do at the time.